water is the source of life. It's the very stuff that we are made of. But in Pakistan, it's the source of death. Well, with me today to talk about whether it's PO or GO or not are Brigadier Iftikhar Haider. Brigadier Haider is the MD of the Karachi Water and Sewerage Board, and I'm sure you've had a pretty harrowing few weeks after this huge Landi problem. Pasha Muraj. Pasha is a senior volunteer with Hisar Foundation. Hisar is a foundation for food, water and livelihood security.
Right.
He's also the author of a very interesting paper titled Karachi Nightmare, Water and Sewerage Problems in a Mega City. So you have lots to say today.
That's right, yes.
Dr. Tanveer Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed is the executive coordinator of HANDS, which is an NGO doing public health work in Sindh. And he's also a public health specialist. And we're very happy to welcome back Mr. Kamal Khalid Yunus, member of the National Assembly of Pakistan, who's also on the Public Accounts Committee. Well, now water is a basic human right, and drinking water is, clean drinking water is denied to us. Now, we've given you some water here today on the table, and I want to tell you all that it's been bussed in from Landi. So, you know, have a drink.
All right.
That should be the first one. Yeah.
Okay, that was my Aaron Brockovich tactic,
Yeah.
which didn't work. No, it's actually
Okay.
bottled water, which is just as bad. Now, there have been numerous cases of water contamination in cities all over Sindh, which have resulted in hundreds of deaths and serious gastric problems. Now, Brigadier Sahab, tell us, what are the what condition are the water and sewerage works, the network? What condition are they in today?
I think if you talk specifically about Landi, the Dauchali and the Awami colony, so at there the state of the water lines is very bad, and the state of the sewerage is very bad, and the water line is encroached by the populace. The line which created this havoc has on top of it the bathrooms,
What do you mean on top of it, the bathroom?
because it is all encroached, and the toilets are
And they're open toilets.
no, their toilets are there. They just drain into the sewage lines. That too, there too are leaking, and those water lines have been infested with a number of connections, and inbuilt house connections, and that too with the hand pumps. So basically, on a 4-inch dia line, there is a hand pump which is trying to take water about 8 feet above the ground. So this is an old 25 years old line, and it was working fine for some times, and this once this whole strata became so weak, and it became so saturated that everything started
Collapsing.
getting mixing up, and then we could find that the water was really contaminated that place. But at the same time, there is another line absolutely adjacent to the same water line, which is away from that encroachment and going through right path, that carries the clean water, and that was the water on which still the Dauchali is surviving. So it gives me a satisfaction from a view about this new line, the other line, that at least I am sure that my water, which is coming from the water board, from the Pipri filter plant, is okay. But then this problem is there in the distribution system. Same as it has been the case in Awami colony, where the line, one of the streets, it got contaminated water. So it was being fed from a 12-inch line, which is providing water to the industrial area also. So rest of the streets are getting safe water, but this one street, it got is getting the
Now, you
contaminated
said
water.
that these lines are 25 years old. How, when were they last upgraded or checked or
I think
serviced?
what happens is that this line was laid only just to send water to another part of the end of the Dauchali, and nobody knew that this line would be encroached by irregular settlement.
But when people encroach it, whose responsibility is that? Who's supposed to stop the encroachment?
Basically, although I personally believe this, the encroachment onto the lands is the responsibility of the land holding department, and here the land belong to Pakistan Railways, and just adjacent to it is the Sindh Kachi Abadis area. So I'm not passing on the blame, but just I'm saying it, that is, in my personal view,
No, but control the land, but the pipes are yours. So surely
because
your joint stakeholders.
You do monitor the water that is being supplied, and if the water was being pumped from one place to another, and if it was being encroached or pumped out somewhere in between, the water you were getting at the other end was short of so many 1,000 gallons on a daily basis. So that would be an indicator. If it was monitored, you would immediately know that some water is short.
But now we have an encroachment problem.
But this is an ideal solution which we are talking about. That is a very simplistic solution. It is, yes, it is there. That once you pump from water from this side and measure at that side, and you'll find it out where the water has gone. Well, that is not the case here in Karachi. There's I have got 5,500 kilometers of main lines.
That's
not
right.
to talk about the distribution lines.
That's right.
And we don't have meters in Karachi. We have meters only onto those areas, that's especially on the industrial area, but not to the residential area. And the reason being the intermittent water supply. The water supply is not 24/7.
Yeah.
The pipes are not fed.
Meters can't work on empty pipes.
On empty pipes. So that is where the problem of Karachi lies with. And all these lines are also not. These lines don't carry water for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So they just get water for 6 hours, and then it's a dry period,
Yeah.
and then water
Creates a negative,
negative pressures.
Yes.
Negative pressures into those pipelines, and as those pipelines they get old and they get perforated.
So who is responsible?
Okay, no,
to
I will just
continue the water
yes,
inflow?
I will tell you, because I was just interrupted in between. I say that Karachi Water and Sewerage Board is responsible to provide the water,
Yeah.
but unfortunately it has not been given the development role. The development of the water supply and sewerage network within a society or within a living area has been the responsibility of that development agency to whom this area belongs. Whether if it is cantonment, it is cantonment. If it is the city government, then it is city government. If it is the Kachi Ibadis, then it is Sindh Kachi Ibadis. I am sorry to say this, but unfortunately what happens is that most of these cases which have occurred, they have occurred into the in the Kachi Ibadis or irregular Kachi Ibadis. Those Sindh Kachi Ibadis or city district government Kachi Ibadis, although they should not take the blame, but what happens is that they say it's an irregular settlement. Now if it is an irregular settlement, they say that development is not their responsibility. But once the people are there, they have to
Have water.
have water.
Yeah.
So what they do?
They get water.
They puncture the main lines, or they position themselves very close to them. So they have the right on water. I personally believe they should have the right on water.
But how you do it? If somebody is sitting right over the pipeline
Sir.
laid down by the Karachi Water and Sewerage Board, then I think it is also the responsibility of Water Board to remove or eject those illegal settlement. Because if this process will continue, and which is
Going on.
which is being continued, I would say since 1960, I mean well before you're coming over
You are
here.
absolutely right, sir.
And I have certain statistic of that. 1960, we had the city encroached by maybe 5%, not more than that. Come to the 70, it's about 20%. Come to the 80, 30, 35%. Come to the 90 and 2000, it's almost 45% encroachment. So if this thing would continue, then it means the city would be encroached by illegal.
I agree.
So
totally
have you
agree.
find, or I mean, any solution of it? Because to me, I think also the revenue which Water Board is getting now, how much? 20% out of it, or how much you getting?
We're getting quite
getting?
less, fairly less. Basically, whatever our demand is, it should be around 30, not more than 30%. Yeah.
See, so it means 70% are not paying the taxes.
Yes.
But here I think the real issue is encroachment. And I remember in those, I'm talking about 60s and 70s, when there were houses or illegal encroachment or bastis, there used